MacVoices is sponsored by Smile and PDF Pen 9, the best way to do more with your PDF documents, including optical character recognition, search and replace, secure redacting, highlighting features, and much more. Get all the details and download a free trial at smilesoftware.com. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices at AltConf and WWDC in San Jose. I finally get Grey Osten back on the show to talk about AppCam for Girls. Grey works for Smile, but we're going to talk AppCam for Girls and what WWDC has meant to that. Grey, it's great to see you.
It's great to be here.
Okay, so first of all, you work for Smile, but you also are the co-founder of AppCam for Girls.
That's correct.
That doesn't keep you any busy at all, does it?
Oh no, I have all the free time in the world.
I thought so. Well, I know Smile has been such a great supporter from the day that AppCamp started. So we're going to focus, though, a little more on AppCamp this time. So I'm going to ask you, what did you see at WW that makes you so excited, and how will it affect what you do at AppCamp for Girls?
Well, I'm pretty thrilled. So they made some announcements to playgrounds where it should be able to connect to Bluetooth devices, and specifically robotics devices. So one of our volunteers, Leslie Baker, she's based out of Seattle, has been working on providing examples for things like classes and objects and functions while using a robot to convey them. So things like you have an instance of something, that's the robot that sits in front of you. It has attributes like its color and what kind of animal it is or whatever, and then functions that it does like jump up and down or make noise. And illustrating that for the campers is really great because then they see a real life tangible example that they can interact with that does the things that we're talking about. And with the Bluetooth stuff, that means that maybe they can get to interact with that directly instead of it being a remote that's totally disconnected from what we're teaching.
So, first of all, I need you to take a step back and explain playgrounds so that folks understand what that is and how that impacts what you just said.
So playgrounds is basically like I don't want to say mini version of Xcode because that makes it sound like a child's toy, but it allows you to write code that you would write for an iOS or a Mac app in a little bit more of a contained environment. So instead of having to build a full-fledged app that you have to go through the whole build and run debug loop, you basically can execute your code in real time in line. And as of, I think, last year, it works with UIKit. So you can actually build out UI pieces of an iOS app inside Playgrounds and watch them work in real time. So it's just sort of a shorter programming loop for you to be able to get sort of some instant gratification and see your code work.
Now, up to this point, well, as far as I know, you have to correct me, up to this point, the girls at AppCamp for Girls have built little quiz apps and those kind of things. Adding robots in has got to be almost probably as good as adding drones in. When you start doing stuff that really impacts the real world, comes off the screen and is sitting there in front of you, that's got to be cool for kids.
Yeah, I think that'll really bring it to life in a way that what they're doing right now doesn't quite. I mean, they're drawing and they're working on UI, UX design and a whole bunch of other things in addition to code. So what they're working on in the apps that they make now, it's a Hello World app, a quiz, and a calculator are interesting. But yeah, being able to interact with the real world and make something move is it brings it to life in a whole new way.
Yeah, I mean, we've all done the Hello World in something, whether it was a web page or whatever, that's one of the first things you do. And it's great, and you do get a little sense of control. But to be able to, make a robot move, wow.
Yeah, you're earning your stripes in a whole new way. And one of the sets of feedback that we've gotten from our campers is that they've gone on to get involved in robotics camps, and they've really enjoyed those. Or they came to our camp because they did a robotics camp. So I think if we can add that to the curriculum, it's just going to make it all the more appealing and hopefully have an even bigger impact on the number of kids that come out of our camps that then go on to add diversity to the tech field.
So AppCamp has expanded. It's been fun to watch, going from one event to, what's turning into something much, much bigger. How many sites did you add this year?
We added Chicago this year, and then we're continuing in Phoenix, Arizona, Portland, Oregon, and Vancouver, BC. We've also had some other changes. So Gene McDonald, who's my co-founder of AppCamp, She's sort of stepping back isn't really the right word, but it's the best one I have. She's going to focus on things like fundraising and being connected with the developer community. And we've hired an executive director who currently is in an interim position who will focus on the logistics that make AppCamp go. So I can sort of focus on what I'm best at, which is curriculum and code, and Jean can focus on what she's best at, which is people stuff, and then we can have an executive director focus on all those other parts that make it go. So I think it'll be a really great step to bring AppCamp to the next level and to bring it to more cities. So that's the other thing that we've been focusing on this year.
And I love the way that it's spread slowly but surely. You took it international when you moved it to Canada. So what are the future aspirations? Just more, bigger, better, more locations?
Yeah, our future aspirations are more girls. The other thing that we've talked a little bit about is expanding to support not just girls, but transgender and gender nonconforming youth. I came out as transgender 2 years ago, and that's something that, as that happened, AppCamp we refocused our mission as well to focus on that. But yeah, otherwise it's just focusing on reaching more campers and expanding the love for code. And that also applies to our volunteers as well. We've had quite a few volunteers that have gone on to become iOS developers, and our hope is to create a pipeline to provide more opportunities for people who are maybe interested in becoming developers, who can find that inspiration or that community through volunteering at AppCamp.
Does the refocusing, have you met any resistance or any questions about that kind of thing, or is it seems like a natural extension of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, so far the support has all been fantastic, and it's been good reception, and my reception is, continuing to be involved through me transitioning has also all been really fantastic, and that means a lot to me. It was something that was really nerve-wracking to come out and to talk about my experience, and so to have the support of the developer community behind me really means the world to me.
It's something I think we've talked about it with I don't know how many guests here, that this community is so welcoming, so accepting, because they look beyond all those traditional labels and roles, and it's just, do you know your stuff? Can you code? And if you can't code, then are you learning to code? And how can we help you learn? What can we teach? What can you teach us? It's so refreshing, and so it creates a huge amount of enthusiasm, I think, to come into this environment and experience that.
Yeah, I think that all of us have experienced our own adversity in our own ways, and I think that's something that we all bring together as the iOS community, I guess the Mac community as a whole, or Apple community, and I feel like people here apply that to the people that they meet in ways that they maybe don't in other communities, and so it creates an environment that's a lot more accepting, and it's just a fantastic place to be.
Agreed. So for the folks out there that want to get involved, how can they help support AppCamp? How do they volunteer? What steps can they take to be supportive of what we just talked about?
Well, our website is appcampforgirls.com. It's 4 with the number 4. As far as support, we would love to have any women, genderqueer, transgender folks come volunteer. That could be something, if you're not in a city that we're already in, contributing to our code base, or helping us find volunteers, or starting a camp in another location. We are looking to expand to as many cities as we can. If you are a dude and you would like to be involved, or a cis dude, I guess, and you would like to be involved, then there's still ways that you can be involved in contributing to the culture around camp, contributing monetarily. The possibilities are endless. Definitely, please reach out to us.
Excellent. It's so good to see you. I'm glad we got to connect here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's great to talk to you.
Okay, now come on more often, will you?
Yes, definitely. You've got me on camera saying it.
Yes, exactly. Committed now. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. We're at AltConf and WWDC in San Jose. We'll have more soon. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes, links to subscribe, and to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, SoundCloud, the MacVoices blog, the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter, and on MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard that helps you do more with your Apple tech. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.